Okay, yeah, thank you. Yes. Yes. So the book, you can, I think you can see, yeah, you can heal your life by Louis Hay. And here the first part is about the chapter 4. Is it true? You can see in on your screen, the fourth chapter starts with saying, is it true? Yeah. Is it true? Truth is the unchangeable part of me. Here you can see it is always either yes or no, both of them, because the glass is both half full and half empty, depending on this. And here always we need to check our thoughts. Most of the time, what happens is when we are in our childhood, when we are leading our lives, and as we grow up, it is a big question. Sometimes we are exactly like our parents. Sometimes we are exactly opposite to our parents. These are the two combinations until and unless you are very much self-aware of your thoughts. If you feel nothing is supporting you, if you feel there is something which is disempowering you, then through your self-awareness, you can change that. The main concept is I am whole, complete, and perfect. So this is what I would like to bring a small discussion into, where I would like to say I am whole. It only means that I am there is nothing missing in me. For example, I'll give you, supposing there is a you are hungry and you have ordered a pizza, and the pizza man has delivered, and you are in your eagerness, you are hungry, you just open the packet and then you see that one slice is missing. You do not take that, you immediately give it back to him saying it is not complete, it is not whole, right? So you don't take that. But if you have ordered only a part of it, if you are sitting in let me say at any restaurant or anywhere, and you have ordered only one slice, you accept one thing, single slice, and you say it is whole. So it is only the how your mind interprets it and how what you are meaning to it. So whole means according to you. So wherever you are, nothing is missing. So it could be one full pizza with the piece missing, or it could be only one triangular part of it, one piece of it, one slice of it, right? So when you say I am whole, where from wherever I am, whatever I have, nothing is missing in it. Next, I am complete. That means nothing is pending in me. We should never check that comparative statement with others. Oh my God, I am not this, I don't have this, or I am not good enough. I'm going to go into details of this through the book, but then this is the beginning preload what I want to give you. And there we could never say that there is something pending in me. From wherever you are, whatever you have, we need to consider ourselves as I am complete. Because, see, for example, I'll give you women or men, if you are accessorizing yourself, you have a regular habit of probably wearing a watch, or probably having a bindi, or probably having a scarf, and on that particular day, you have forgotten. So when you are, after some time, when you have reached a particular place, and then suddenly you remember, oh my God, my necessary accessory I have forgotten, then that will linger in your mind. It will continue to tell you that, oh, I am incomplete, I am not complete, and then it will spoil your day. So this is what you have to tell yourself: I am complete the way I am. There is nothing pending in me, whether be it a skill, whether be it your knowledge, whether be it your external accessories, whether whatever it is. Never tell yourself that you are not complete. So considering I am whole, I am perfect, then coming to I am whole, I am complete, and then coming to the point of I am perfect. Perfect, there is nothing, it's a myth of being perfection. Perfect, so it is always accepting ourselves imperfectly perfect. We are whole, complete with all our imperfections. It's a beauty. We cannot clone everybody saying you need to be perfect. There is nothing beyond that. So it is about accepting ourselves the way we are. Once we acknowledge this statement, I am whole, complete, and perfect, that is when we realize our strength, where our power lies. That is what we are going to acknowledge. And here, yes, Simran is saying, yes, I agree. I am complete the way I am. I am whole. I am complete. I am perfect. Fantastic. Thank you, Simran, for adding that. Then I am going to show you the PDF part of it on the screen, and then I will take you to the important points, and then we will share our insights, because book reading, the whole of the paragraphs cannot be read. Now here you can see on your screen whatever, where my cursor is, I think you can see the next part of it. Whatever we believe becomes true for us. If you have a sudden financial disaster, then on some level you may believe you are unworthy of being comfortable with money, or you believe in burdens and debt. So what happens is, whatever we believe comes true. This is exactly true what Louise Hay says. In our mind, what we believe is what happens, because our subconscious is attracting that, because these become a pattern. When these are becoming a pattern, we are attracting the same vibes. Universe responds to our frequency. So basically here, another point which I would like to let you know is, all through this, the underline, the meaning within the sentences is, universe responds to frequency. There is no logic there. You never have logic with people. So logic is only for us to understand and then for us to work. But it's all about the frequency in our mind, in our thought. What is that? Universe responds to the thoughts what you are having. So always you are looking at you are converting your thoughts, whatever be it, when it is pulling down, you have to convert that into the positive, and then you are seeing that the universe responds to it and it gives you all of those. So here you see um, the different patterns that I am showing you again on the screen, the different patterns of your thought system. See the problem. So it depends on the belief. Your thoughts are your beliefs, and these beliefs happen during your childhood based on whatever circumstances you have grown up. So you would have seen something, you would have heard something, you would have dealt with something, or you would have perceived something. So all of this. Now, for example, here you can see the problem. If it is a financial disaster, the belief could be, I am not worthy of having money. This belief would have been implanted in your subconscious sometime. Okay, if you are having no friends, then the belief would be, nobody loves me. If your uh, thought problem is problems at work, with work, then I am not good enough. You are always telling yourself, I am not good enough. That is the reason you are creating those patterns, creating those kind of, attracting those kind of circumstances. And always pleasing others, I never get my way. The problem, always pleasing the others, and I never get my way. Here I would like to share my own perception that this was the thought which I was having earlier. I was in the state of always pleasing others. The reason being, see, everybody, our family, we have the loved ones, near one, dear ones, but then in childhood we do not have the coping mechanism. So I come from such a background where my father was a self-made man, and then he was the person who is taking decisions. He was the one who was the very hardworking person, lot of value principles, and then he has led all of his brothers, sisters, everybody, and that kind of power he had, and the kind of control he had on the family. Genetically I am the same person, genetically, in the sense that kind of all that speaking confidence, all of this I had, but somehow it didn't gel with my father, where when I was able to talk and confront and all, he would say, I am the best decision maker, please follow me. This registered in my mind, and then there was a conflict once in my childhood, and then when I was putting my foot down and then saying I want this, then I saw my father getting agitated, irritated, and then there was a kind of friction. I got scared, and in my mind it was like I have to please my father, such that I don't create this kind of disturbances in the family. That got stuck, pleasing. And thereafterwards, this happened below 10 years, but thereafterwards that became a kind of anchor in my mind, that not only my father, my mother, and all that kind of age group people, I started pleasing, and I became a people pleaser without my knowledge. I was only submissive. I was thinking being submissive is good, and that good girl concept got into my head, and I continued my life like that. Later, when I realized that this is the one which is stopping me, this is the one which is creating these kind of hurdles and blocks, roadblocks in my life, in my progress towards my career or personal life, that is when I changed that pattern. This book has helped me to understand that this people pleasing is a weakness where you are giving away the power to others. Once you identify that, you need to become self aware. Once you need to identify that, you have to go ahead and change that pattern such that all of it changes, and then you are attracting a different pattern, and you are taking your power in your hands, and you are taking charge of your life. This was the practical thing which happened in my life, and this is through this book which I talk about, You Can Heal Your Life. So here, that is the reason. First, we need to identify what our belief system is telling us and what is the problem with us. We need to actually check. First, check what is that you have. See, here you have whatever the problem is, it comes from a thought pattern, and the thought pattern can be changed. That is the best part of it. The thought pattern can be changed, and here you see it's only a belief you learn as a child. It's only a belief. So go ahead. Something is troubling you. Go ahead, sit down quietly, sit in your own room, check what is that troubling you, and then write it down. Your thoughts are very useful in the beginning, but as we grow older, they no longer are appropriate. So, for example, here Louis Hay says very clearly, don't trust strangers. This is a belief. In childhood, we definitely tell our children also, we also have been told, don't trust strangers, because as a child, they do not have the coping mechanism. They do not understand what the strangers are up to. But as we grow, this belief doesn't hold true, because even after we grow up, even after we are matured mentally and able to handle things physically and emotionally, if still you have the belief, don't trust strangers, we become aloof. And then we do not trust people. We don't have friends. We will not be able to get along with others. Here on your screen, you say. So this don't trust strangers is a belief which is true in childhood, but not when they grow up. Similarly, you will see the other part of it is better questions asked. Once I am just coming here, I have underlined this here. Better questions to ask. Is it true for me now? Ask yourself, where did that belief come from? Do I still believe it because a first grade teacher told me that over and over? Would I be better off? So all of this you need to check and then come out of that pattern which is happening. Now, for example, here, don't trust strangers. Don't go out at night or people cheat you. This is what we tell children, and it doesn't hold true when we are grown up. So you have to come out of it. Now, for example, here in for some people, it's like always there is a pattern. If you were taught as a child, it's all my fault. These are the people who are always submissive and keep telling, I am sorry. On the screen, you can see, I am sorry. So this makes them very passive, and then it is very difficult for them to come out of it. So here you will see that sometimes you will feel you're invisible when others fail to notice you. This is what happened to me, and I became a people pleaser. It was very tough for me to come out of it. So another belief that's not good enough, another belief that's not good enough is what most of us suffer from. You have to actually deal with it. So here I would like to tell you, Louis Hay tells about a case study where I had a client who had been brought up in the household where they believed everything was wrong and could not get worse, could only get worse. Now here it is the belief that they were financially and emotionally also hurt, and this person who was playing tennis had got injured, and finally he could not play at all. These are few cases. Now here another point what Louis Hay says, if you believe it, it seems true. How we are tuning up our subconscious. How often have we said, that's the way I am, that's the way it is? These are rigid, these are fixed beliefs which are happening. So the way you see things, if for example it is raining and you say, what a lousy day, if you say it is a lousy day, it is very lousy. But then if you say this today, it's fantastic, the way you interpret, how your mind perceives, this has to be done by your consciousness. Very, very positively, you have to look at what is happening around, enjoy. The gift is the present. It is the present which we are talking about. So each moment, whatever is happening, I'm taking you to the next part of it. Each moment is a new beginning, and your strength lies in the moment. You can see here, each moment is the new beginning. It is in the present. So remember, you are the only person who thinks in your mind. Nobody else will think for you. You are the person who should be thinking for yourself. And here I would like to take you to another paragraph. Here on the screen you can see, this moment begins the new process, this present moment. Why do we say present? Present. It is a gift. So it is a present moment is a gift for you. Louis says each moment is a new beginning, and this moment is the new beginning for you right here and right now. Isn't that great to know? This moment is the point of power. This moment is where the change begins, and that is how you have to go ahead. So supposing you are having a pattern which is repeating, negative thought is coming, how do you deal with it? Here you see Louise says either rephrase the sentence or just drop it. You could even say out in your mind. You need to tell your mind out, and then you will be able to deal with it. So physically, verbally, emotionally, if you are taking control of your mind, then it is that you are having power on your present moment. Now, for example, here Louise also shares, I'm going to share that later, also shares a thought that there are all these good thoughts, bad thoughts, disempowering thoughts, empowering thoughts, all of them are cluttering our mind. It is the choice which we make that is what is empowering us. For example, if you are going to a hotel for a buffet, and in the buffet on the table you see lots of food. Now, don't you think it is your choice to pick what you like to have? Yes. Do you all agree with me? You can mention agree in the Zoom chat, or you can also, yes, I can see few of you raising your hands. So it is your choice to pick the food what is there on the table at the buffet, right? So similarly, just imagine instead of food, there are dishes with thoughts. Some thoughts negative, some thoughts positive, some thoughts empowering, some disempowering. So all of these kinds of thoughts are there in different dishes on the buffet table. What would you want to pick up, my dear friends? Definitely, you will only pick up what is empowering you, what is supporting you, what is positive for you, right? So similarly, in your mind, when you have a clutter of all of these thoughts, it is a human psychology that we go back to the negative thing and then we keep remembering them and then reigniting them, reiterating them. But then just imagine your head to be a buffet table where you have served all the thoughts, and now pick up only the positive thoughts, the empowering thoughts, the supportive thoughts, and then go by them. Consciously you have to make this, my dear friends. Consciously you have to make this change. That is what is going to create a pattern. Now here I am going to show it to you. Here you will see. Yes, so if you choose the thoughts that will create problems and pain, that's rather foolish. It's like choosing food that will make you ill, which we don't do at all, right? So similarly, we have to go ahead with the thoughts which are helping us. That is what Louis Hay is reiterating. And here you can see, let us stay away from the thoughts that create problems and pain. Write it down. Let us stay away from thoughts that create problems and pain. Write it down for yourself such that even if the thought comes, do not go by that thought, because it becomes if you remember, on mirrors there are designs, they etch on mirrors, you see, um, when there are designs, they are etched, and once they are etched, they are not able to, you cannot clear the design. Similarly, our mind is a mirror where whatever thoughts you go into, it gets etched in the memory. So if it is bad thought, it is disempowering thought, you are etching it and you are making it permanent. Do not go by that. Create a positive frame of mind and a positive thought and etch it in your memory. That's what Louis Hay says. Think your brain, your mind as a mirror where you only allow the positive thoughts. Now here on your screen, you can see where my cursor is. When there is a problem, there is not something to do, there is something to know. So problems are, yes, problems are there. Nobody's life is a straight line. It's all ups and downs. When there are challenges, when there are problems, it is a way of the universe telling you that there is something for you to look into, there is something for you to know. And if there is a pattern coming up, definitely face that and learn what is that you are supposed to learn. Now here you can see uh, a deep how your thoughts work. In this paragraph you can see how your thoughts work would be very first subject to be taught in the school, my dear friends. Instead of teaching in the school all that history dates and then something which is not important or irrelevant, we would actually, Louis says actually here, I have never understood the importance of having children memorize battle dates. It seems much a waste of mental energy. Instead, we could teach them important subjects such as how the mind works, how to handle finances, how to invest money for financial security, how to be a parent, how to create good relationships, and how to create and maintain self-esteem and self-worth. So this is what we, present generation, can also inculcate this in the present system, or to the parents, new parents, teaching parents, teachers, schools, everywhere. It is about the self-worth and the self-esteem. And here towards the end, you can see, yet within all this, each person would remain an individual expressing her or his own creativity. Just imagine if we all are taking that plunge, we all are taking that oath that the next generation is going to be taught about the most important self-esteem and self-worth. That's what Louise has been standing for. When we are creating that kind of safe environment for the children, imagine when they grow up as adults, how beautiful it is going to be for them, right? So now this, we are ending the fourth chapter here, and it says about, I would like to read this once again. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole and complete. I no longer choose to believe in old limitation and lack. This is what I was mentioning. It is old limitation which tells you that you lack something. I now choose to begin to see myself as the universe sees me, perfect, whole and complete. This what we have explained in detail. The truth of my being is that I was created perfect, whole and complete. I will always be perfect, whole and complete. I now choose to live my life from this understanding. I am in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. All is well in my world, my dear friends. Here we complete the fourth chapter, and coming to the fifth chapter. In the fifth chapter, you can see it is about what do we do now. Now here the seed has been done in the fourth chapter, and here we are seeing patterns. I see my patterns and I choose to make changes. Here this is about the decision which we are supposed to make towards ourselves. So here you see there is a predominant emotion which happens for all of us. Predominant emotion, just check about yourselves, what is your predominant emotion. For some it is anger, for some it is sad, for some it is jealousy. So you have to check what is your predominant emotion, and that is the one which is ruling your mind. Check this. For example, I was actually labeled as a very short-tempered person in my childhood. In the fourth chapter, I told you I was a people pleaser. The reason was I was not allowed to be heard. In the sense, I was speaking, but I was not taken into consideration. My thoughts, my ideas were not considered. So I always wanted to be visible, and then I became a people pleaser, where I thought, okay, if I please people, only then they will listen to me or take me into consideration. In the process, my thoughts were always submissive, and I kept to it was a bottled emotion, and that became an anger, where I used to become short-tempered, and that anger I did not know. So Lewis says that if the anger is repeating again and again, you become angry, again you become angry. What is this anger doing? Is it solving the problem? No, it is not solving the problem, right? So you have to take control of that anger, and you have to think about, why is this anger coming up? From where is this anger coming up? And what do I have to do with this anger here afterwards? So in this fifth chapter, this is what Louise Hay talks about. She says, if there is an anger on your screen, you can see, when there is, people get angry at themselves or at life and also give up. So it is upon you that you have to take into consideration. If the anger is repeating, then you have to take that and then see from where is the anger coming, what is that happening, what is the after effect of that anger. So here you can see it's a foolish reaction to waste your time only getting angry. It's also a refusal to perceive life in a new and a different way. So it is about, what do you believe that to get your way, you need to get angry? What do you believe? That belief you have to catch hold of. That belief, if you catch hold of, and then you can actually take control of that, where you will see that Louise speaks about on your screen, whatever you give out comes back to you. there is a very firm saying, what goes around comes around. So whatever you give out comes back to you. The more you give out anger, the more you are creating situations for you to get angry at. So here you can see, my dear friends, the predominant emotion. If you are sad, I'm talking about few people who are always in that zone of submissiveness, or they are always feeling guilty, or they are very sad. They are creating that kind of situations and repeating patterns. What goes around comes around. This is what Louise Hay says. So you have to consciously change that pattern and then start working on that. What is that predominant emotion? Why are you getting that? What is the after effect, and how do you want to change that? And once you rephrase this is what I did in my life. I was short tempered, I was angry always. And once I discovered that the anger is coming from the feeling of I am not getting heard, then that is when I changed my pattern. And then I started taking compassion. I started valuing myself. I started understanding myself. What is that I am lacking? And then that is what I changed in my life. And thereafterwards, I started listening to people and then only showcasing what is the most needed, not from my point of view, from the big picture. And when this came out, that is when I started getting the respect for my thoughts, and I was included in the discussions. This is the way now I am attracting these kind of vibes and these kind of people. So they very consciously, it is a very delicate but yet very important aspect of how we are going to handle this. Here, the next part, you will be seeing that make a decision willing to change. This has to come from within, willing to change. If this decision is not happening, my dear friends, make a decision. Make a decision to be willing to change consciously. Most of the times we see, we or other people, they are resistant to willing to change. If the decision is there to make a willing to change, then we would prefer that we change ourselves. So we would prefer that they change. We are looking at the other people, that is blaming them. Instead of that, in order to have this happen, we must change within. Inside us itself, we must change. So now it is time to be willing to change. This in my own life example, I was telling you, I was earlier very short tempered, but when I made that decision willing to change, then that is when I attracted mentors, coaches, and then certain kind of workshops where I could work on myself. That has led to the total 180-degree shift in my life and my thought process. So this has to come from within. And here you can see that, one second, yeah. Here you can see on your screen. Yeah. So when I decide to make a change in my life, this stubbornness can come to the surface, and my resistance to changing my thinking is strong. I can temporarily become self-righteous, angry, and withdrawn. So it has to be done from within the core. So when you are doing within the core, that is when you release this. And here you can see at the end, in my opinion, Louise says, in my opinion, that means really good teachers do not come from joyous households where all was easy. They come from a place of much pain and suffering, and they have worked through the layers to reach the place where they can now help others to become free. That means we, all of us, if it is a very safe, protective environment, there is nothing much happening in your head. Only when you have faced challenges, when you have not known how to deal with the situations, when you have worked on ourselves, that is when you know there is something which you have worked and you can teach the world. That is the reason the teachers who have faced adverse situations, who have dealt with the challenges and the problems, are better teachers for people to know. So similarly, here you can see this house cleaning paragraph. I will let you know the mental work which you need to do on yourself, every person. The mental work I do now is like cleaning a house. I go through my mental rooms and examine the thoughts and beliefs in them. Some I love, so I polish and shine them and make them even more useful. It's like in your mind, whatever empowering thoughts, whatever supporting thoughts are there, you go by it. But whatever is not empowering, not supportive, discard them. That's what she says. Some I notice need replacement or repair. and I get around to them as I can. Some are likely yesterday's newspapers or old magazines or clothing that's no longer suitable. These I either give away or toss into a trash, and I let be gone forever. It's not necessary for me to be angry or to feel I am a bad person. This is I'm a bad person in order to do this. This thought, my dear friends, all those that is the decision to be willing to change, and those disempowering thoughts, you have to clean them, you have to throw them. It's like I let go. Write down a list of all the thoughts which are not allowing you, which are creating roadblocks. I let go. And then opposite to that, positive thoughts, I bring forth. Write a list of I bring forth what are the thoughts. And the last one is I commit to. I commit to is what you are going to hear afterwards. Stand by. When you do these three lists, I repeat, I let go, I bring forth, and I commit to. These are the three lists. When you do, you are getting a charge on your life, my dear friends. That is the exercise which Louise Hay speaks about in her book. Here on your screens, you will be seeing the exercise. I am willing to change. You can see, I am willing to change. Repeat this often. So now I want you all to write down on your Zoom chat, I am willing to change. Just for an interactive, chat, just write down, I am willing to change. I see, yes, lot of, yes, Roshni, I am willing to change. Thank you. Prakash, I am willing to change. Thank you. Simran, yes, I am willing to change. Yes, yes, it is sizzling. Yes, good. The Zoom chat, wonderful. Alpana, everybody, thank you so much. So I am willing to change. You need to take into consideration this decision that I am willing to change. And here another paragraph, be willing to allow the changes to happen when they come up in your life. Be aware that where you do not want to change is exactly the area where you need to change the most. I am willing to change. Here, Louise Hay talks about whenever there are certain situations, when there is a willing to change, there are situations where you get diverted. I will later on it will come about. So resistance, that means the universe is telling that patterns are repeating, that circumstances are coming again because you are having a resistance of willing to change, and that is the area where you exactly need the change, and that is what you need to take into consideration. Work upon it. Sometime or the other you have to face it. Why not now? This is how we have to take all of this and then go ahead of willing to change. The universal intelligence, this is what we talk about, subconscious mind. The universal intelligence is always responding to your thoughts and words. Things will definitely begin to change as you make these statements. So and she will also give you many ways to change. Here it's not only about willing to change, you can do many ways. For example, you will see here towards the end, you will see next exercise to willing. I'm just coming here. Exercise willing to change. Here you will see that above this paragraph, in the same thing with cleaning up or dried up crusty mental pattern in your head, when we soak it with new ideas, all the good comes to the surface to look at. Just keep doing the new affirmations. Keep telling yourself positive affirmations, and soon you will have totally cleared the old limitation. It is like pouring pure water, fresh water into muddy jar, and the mud all comes out, and the glass and the jar naturally towards eventually gets filled up with the fresh water. This is how you have to take it into consideration. And here you can see mirror exercise. Another one, first go look in the mirror and say to yourself, I am willing to change. Stand in front of the mirror, look into the eye of of your reflection, and then tell yourself, I am willing to change. Notice. And whenever you are saying I am willing to change, that doesn't mean you are bad or you're having something not good or you are guilty. Nothing like that. Accept yourself as you are, whole, complete, and perfect. Look into the mirror. Here you see how Louise says, notice how you feel. If you are hesitant or resistant or just don't want to change, ask yourself why. The old belief you are holding on to, please don't scold yourself. Just notice what it is. And I'll bet that belief has been causing a lot of trouble within you, my dear friends. So here is where she's talking. Whether we know where it came from or not, let's do something to dissolve it. Now, again, go to the mirror and look deep into your own eyes. Touch your throat. This is the place where the change happens. Louise says, touch your throat, looking in the mirror, eye to eye, touch your throat, and then I am willing to release all the resistance. Mirror work is very, very powerful. Teach your children mirror work. And then when they do this mirror work, that is from the childhood onwards, when they are doing this mirror work, standing in the mirror, standing in front of the mirror, looking into the eye, and then, one second. Yeah. And then if they are able to look in the mirror and talk about themselves, that positive affirmations, then they will be able to deal with it. Their subconscious mind is getting tuned, is getting prepared with all the coping mechanism which they will be dealing in the future. Here we end the 5th chapter and coming to the next 6th chapter. Before that, let me read this. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole and complete. I now choose calmly and objectively to see my old patterns, and I am willing to make changes. I am teachable. I can learn. I am willing to change. I choose to have fun doing this. I choose to react as though I have found a treasure when I discover something else to release. I see and feel myself changing moment by moment. Thoughts no longer have power over me. All is well in my world. Come to this decision. With this, we end this 5th chapter, and now let's go to the 6th chapter. The 6th chapter talks about resistance to change. One second. It's just loading. Yeah. Resistance to change. Yeah. Here you can see resistance to change. This is about the patterns which have already been created. I am in the rhythm and flow of ever-changing life. The resistance. And here in this chapter, especially Louise talks about what are the kind of resistances that come up for us not to change. Why are we wanting to be in that same space where we feel sympathy towards ourselves and we are happy in that sad zone or in that disempowered zone? There are few people who do not want to. And what are those symptoms? What are those signals which show that people are having resistance to change? This we are going to go ahead and see. Awareness is the first step in healing. You can see, my dear friend, awareness. So this awareness, whenever there is something you want to change, like a deep feeling you want to change, the resistance comes up. So here you can see it rises to the surface of our attention in some way, and we begin to relate to it. We often attract a teacher, a friend, a class, a workshop, or something whenever we want to have the willing to change. And here I would like to tell you that little there will be instances happening, some kind of situations happening when you are in your subconscious creating this change of pattern. Universe is giving these and you are accepting them. There will be like dots. When you are joining the dots, you will know why that has happened for you and how you can go ahead with that positivity of that thought. So here I would like to share with you another point where Louise Hay talks about here, one second, the second paragraph. Our resistances come up very strong. We may even feel angry about the thought of doing it. Such a reaction is good if we can understand that it is the first step in our healing process. So acknowledge that. If there is a resistance coming up, acknowledge that. That is the first step. And then that is where such a reaction is good. And it is the first step of healing process, my dear friends. And that is the first step which you can take. And then you can see the truth is that the process begins the moment we begin to think about making a change. Naturally, all of them will fall into place. Here, I would like to read this second paragraph. If you want to move to another room, you have to get up and move step by step. It is something in your mind you are thinking, and the physical body has to make a move, has to make a action. So it is not just in the mind. If you are sitting here in this room and saying, I want to become healthy, I want to jog, and then I have to shape up my body, it will not happen sitting. Though you are having positive affirmations in mind, your body has to take the action. Similarly, here Louise says, if you want to move to another room, you have to get up and move step by step in that direction. Just sitting in your chair and demanding that you be in the other room will not work. So this we have to do consciously, my dear friends. That means you have to acknowledge. Now is the time to acknowledge our responsibility in having created the situation or condition. This we have to acknowledge and make an effort to take actions. And here you will see, in the past, we unknowingly used this power to create things we did not want to experience because we were using negatively. We were caught hold in that negative emotion. But now she says, now by acknowledging our responsibility, we become aware and learn to use this power consciously in the positive way for our benefit. I repeat, Louise says, now by acknowledging our responsibility, we become aware and learn to use this power consciously in the positive ways for our benefit. Taking this, we have to see resistance is coming to the fore. For everybody, resistance comes. And I know we have to hit upon exactly what needs to be done. So the things that are so difficult for us are only the thing or are only the lessons we have chosen for ourselves. If things are easy for us, then they are not lessons, but are things we already know. Here, some lessons which Louise Hay talks about, lessons can be learned through awareness. First, become awareness. Now you will be seeing that non-verbal cues. Observe yourself and also observe others. My dear friends, from here afterwards, today onwards, in your family, in your work area, professional area, wherever you see, if there is something which you are talking or if there is something, a pattern which you need to change, the non-verbal cues are the resistances which are happening are, for instance, you change the subject. It is either you or the other person. You observe what is happening, resistance, how it is coming up to the surface. You change the subject or you leave the room or you go to the bathroom. That means you are resisting that change. Something is happening for good for you, but you are not in a position. So there is a resistance. These are all non-verbal cues. So procrastinating also happens from here. Doing something else, or when there is something good for you to take action, you are not exactly doing that. You are doing something else, or you are wasting your time. You're looking away. When you start observing, becoming aware of yourself, this is for you to make a change, willing to change. Or if you are coaching somebody, or in your family, if you want to tell something to somebody and they are showing resistance to change, these are the cues for you that there is something which they are resisting. Now, this is about non-verbal cues. What are the assumptions that are happening? That we assume things about others to justify our resistance. Like, for example, it won't do any good anyway. My husband or wife won't understand. I would have to change my whole personality. These are the assumptions, and you are justifying. So these are the assumptions. That means, for example, this is also called Espo's theory. What I would like to let you know is, for example, supposing there is a person, there is a lady saying, I want to have a better career, but my husband doesn't allow. So after, but whatever you are saying is the actual truth. And before, but whatever you're saying is your virtual or fancy truth, which you are telling yourself to justify your resistance. This is called Espo's theory. After, but whatever you say. For example, I would have been, I want to be the best person, but my family circumstance doesn't allow. Your family circumstance doesn't allow is the fact which you identify. You are only telling yourself, I want to be, which is you're sympathizing with yourself. Hold on to that actual truth and work on that. Take action on that. This is what is called Espo's theory, because these are the assumptions we tell ourselves and get away with. Get away with in the sense that we tell people something which we need to get justified and we want to say for our credibility, but that is not. So you need to get to the core of your belief. Why is this happening? The next point which Louise talks about, we grow up with beliefs that become our resistance to changing. Now you see here, what are those limiting ideas? It's not done, it's not. These are limiting beliefs. Since childhood, this has been there in our head. These are few of these which Louise talks about. My family never did that, How can I? It's too far to drive, it's too much work, it's too expensive. All these are our limiting beliefs. Sometimes we also start blaming them. This is another point which Louise talks about. Them. That means we throw the blame on others. We give our power to others and use that excuse as our resistance. This is also which we need to identify. God doesn't approve. This isn't the right environment. They won't let me change. I don't have the right teacher. So these are all excuses. They are blames. So we are always complaining and blaming, which we are giving away our power to others. Here also you can see these are some excuses, blaming. I don't want to be under that spell. It's all their fault. So all of this, how are they coming up? It is again coming up with the self concept, the concept self worth and self esteem, which I was talking about. We have ideas about ourselves that we use limitations or resistances to change. This is something which we are telling ourselves, creating roadblocks or creating the hurdles in our own path. These are self-sabotaging our growth. So you see, these most of the times, if people are talking about all these, whatever it is there, I am too young, too old, too thick, too thin, too tall, too dumb, too smart. All of these are self-limiting beliefs. Maybe it's just all too much. All of this. So we also use kind of delaying tactics. This is what Louis here also tells, delaying tactics. Our resistance often expresses itself as a delaying tactic. I'll do it later. This is again resistance to change, willing to change. I don't have the time right now. Or for example, as soon as I get back from this trip, I will do. This time isn't right time. We do this. These are delaying tactics. Identify all of this. And also denial. Here you can see in the form of resistance also show up in the denial. Denial is another phase where you are having a resistance to willing to change. So this is like there is nothing wrong with me. I am living like this. I have been living like this. So if you are continuing to living in that same state, are you going to grow? Are you going to get empowered? The answer is no. But yet you are in the denial mode. That means you are not aware of what is stopping you. You don't want to change because there is a resistance in your mind that they willing to change. So here, because of the fear, this is what I think Simran also was talking about. Fear. By far, the biggest category of resistance is fear. Fear of the unknown. All of us have this fear of unknown future. Most of the times, my dear friends, present, present, the moment, the present moment is the gift which we have, but we do not live in the present. We are either living in the past, worrying for what has already happened, or we are living in the future where we are fearing the unknown. So this also Louise addresses. She says the fear of I am not ready yet, I might fail. What good the what are others going to think about me? So many she has given in the book. If you have a hold on the book, just go through all of this. I don't have enough money. I might hurt my back. I might hurt myself. So all of these are nothing but it's the list goes on and on. So you need to recognize some of these, the ways you resist. Look for the resistance in these examples. Here it's all about resistance. Here once again a case study which Louise talks about. A client came to me because she was in a lot of pain. She had broken her back, her neck, and her knee in 3 separate accidents. And yet she was late, got lost, and then was stuck in the traffic. Now look at this. What Louise says in our 4th chapter, we are attracting that kind of vibes. So here this lady is having those patterns being repeated. So here you see, despite all of these 3 different accidents, yet she has not changed her pattern. She is lost, she got lost, she's stuck in traffic. It was easy for her to tell me all her problems, but the minute I said, let me talk for a moment, you see what Louise says, all sorts of turmoil began. Her contact lenses began to bother her. She wanted to sit in another chair. She had to go to the bathroom. Then her lenses had to come out. I couldn't keep her attention and the rest of the session. It was all resistance. These are all clues to know that the person is having resistance, willing to change, and she wasn't ready to let go. You have to let go. As I was telling you earlier, let go, bring forth, and then be committed to the new change. All of this we have to take into consideration because there is a lot of resistance that is happening, my dear friends. Now here you can see in the next part, this theory was that we couldn't stop okay, this is about leave your friends alone. This is again blaming the others. Louis Hay again talks that it is about resistance. Always you have to identify with your friends. Most of the time, if somebody feels negativity towards others, they will look at other friends. Okay, they can guide me, they can help me. It is not about friends. You have to work on yourself. The better exercise is the mirror work, which Louis Hay talks about. Mirrors reflect back to us our feelings about ourselves, my dear friends. They show us clearly the areas to be changed, and then we have to talk to our mirror. I do this exercise even now. I have started earlier when I started with this book, and I still now, even now, today also, every day I do this mirror exercise. As soon as I wake up, we go to the bathroom to brush our teeth, right? I look at the mirror. I look into the eye of my mirror, and then I say, I am whole, complete, and perfect the way I am. I am the gifted child of the universe. You can talk about positive affirmations, whatever you want. I am the best person. I am good by the way how I am. So I am an angel. I have these qualities. Whichever you want, do this mirror exercise and see. I am a proof of this. A witness. Within 10 days, you will be seeing the physiological changes, the different mental makeup you have on your own, that these changes are happening within you from deep within your core. And these mirror exercises inculcate in children also as a habit. Let them talk to the mirror. It will increase their confidence. It will help them look at themselves as the third person and also point out where they lack. If they are not confident, they will not be able to look at the eye in the mirror. But then looking at the eye in the mirror, acknowledging, accepting, becoming aware, and then telling the positive affirmations will help them know and discover their own self-worth. Let this exercise become a practice for the children, and then you have to notice the changes. So here again, Louise says, when we do our affirmations and they don't feel right or nothing seems to happen, it's so easy to say, oh, affirmations don't work. It's not that the affirmations don't work, it's that we need to do another step before we begin affirmations, and that is nothing but clearing away that resistance to willingness to change. So from this, here you also have to repeat those patterns which show our needs. For every pattern we repeat, there is a need within us. We have to address that need. And once we are able to do this, it has nothing to do with the willpower or discipline. Whatever we are trying to release in our lives is just a symptom. Let go. Let go of that which is not working. Trying to eliminate the system without working on dissolving is the cause, is the useless thing, which should not happen. So this is how we are going to deal with our inner child. I'm going to take you to the last point here. On your screen, you will be seeing, one second. There is a lot of self-criticism also happening. So if you are in a person, just a second. Yeah. If here on your screen, if you are a person who gets angry at yourself for being afraid and fearful, think of yourself as a 3-year-old. It is your inner child. You have been dealt like this, and that is the reason you are not able to accept yourself. So feel yourself, comfort your inner child, hug your inner child, praise your inner child, love your inner child, take care of your inner child, and then you change the pattern, and that's when the change starts within you, and you have now the opportunity to treat yourself in the positive way. So here I would like to end this 6th chapter by saying, be kind to yourself, begin to love and approve of yourself. That's what that little child needs in order to express itself at its highest potential. Here, this is where the 6th chapter is ending, my dear friends. So the 4th chapter, 5th chapter, 6th chapter, here we are talking about. First chapter told about I being whole, complete, and perfect. That is the 4th chapter. Accept yourself. There is nothing missing in you. There is nothing pending in you. And you are imperfectly perfect the way you are from wherever you are. And in the next chapter, it talks about the resistance of willing to change. Identify what are those resistances which are stopping you, and then make a pattern consciously. And in the 6th chapter, we have seen what are the cues, what are the clues, what are that resistance is coming up. what are we doing, or what is the other person doing where you can help them. And then some exercises for you, like the mirror exercise, the positive affirmations, all of these have been given in the 6th chapter. So here I end this book review of 4th, 5th and 6th chapters. So the floor is open, my dear friends. You can share your own insights and comments either in the Zoom chat, or you can unmute your mic and go on, please. Go ahead. Yes, on the Zoom chat also I see. Yes, fantastic. Very thought-provoking, Alpana. Simran, thank you so much. Sreeveni, yes, thank you all for being here. But then anybody would like to share your insights, please unmute yourself and go ahead. Yes. Sonal, would you want to share anything? Roshni, Ashmita?
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Like, we have to make a decision to be willing to change consciously.
Yes.
And we should not be resistant towards it. Okay, things may take time, but yeah, practicing it every day will give us a lot of strength to do it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, Sonal, for your contribution. Anybody else would like to go ahead? Alpana, Supriya, Rakhi, Shamina?
Yeah, Sriveni, I really love the way you put in your personal example. Like the author has picked up her case studies. And actually, yes, it took me back in time when I read that book. When I picked up this book for the first time, a friend of mine really asked me, that uh, are you aware of the kind of a book you are taking and are you reading? Well, I have also had a lot of issues in my childhood, but at that time, I never had awareness. But nevertheless, I picked up the book and I read it. And now going back, the kind of books I have written on healing, on childhood abuse, toxic relationships, now I realize that how it impacted. But what takes the courage is to be able to be self aware, introspect, and put yourself out there. So, great. Thanks for that read, and thanks for getting all the points out, and thanks for showing a live example. And I think all of us go through something or the other in our lives that we need to deal with, and how
Yes.
powerful the mind is in orchestrating our present, which
Yes.
translate to the future because of our past.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rakhi, for sharing your insights. Wonderful. It's a great peer learning here happening. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, Alpana, would you want to go ahead?
First and foremost, I wasn't sure what to expect. I haven't read the book, but I think this is a very thought-provoking book. In fact, I'm sad I haven't read this book as yet. Uh, and this is something that I'm going to take to bed with me. I don't have the book, but I'm going to order it so that I can go through it. And I can see this is something that will make such a huge change in anyone's life if you read it honestly and ask yourself the right questions. And I also love the fact that you made it very personal, not just sharing what's in the book, but you brought all those things to life. So didn't even realize that the whole hour is gone because of all the stuff that you made it alive. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alpana. Wonderful. Get the book, and then you will be able to go through all of it. A wonderful book. Yes, as you say, you can now go ahead with this book, right? Yeah. Anybody else? Supriya, would you like to share? Simran, Shamina?
Yes,
Yeah, Supriya.
thank you so much for explaining to us in a such a way. I must say you are a Vijayawada Express. It was a beautiful, it goes to all the stations and reaches to the destination. So lovely explanation, first and foremost thing. And this book is very close to my heart. When I started to change myself, this was the first workshop I had attended, and
Yeah.
in a row, three times I attended the workshop. And when that was the true with when you said that when you want to change, the teacher will appear. When you
Ah,
want to learn something, the teacher will be appear.
yes.
So I was there. I remember 2015. I remember the date also, 23rd of October 2015. I have done the first workshop of Heal Your Life.
Mm,
And before that, I thought that I wanted to change whatever the beliefs are there, whatever the patterns are repeating, I wanted to change, and then the teacher appears.
Yeah.
Though the
Wonderful.
teacher, it is there in my home itself, but no, I had,
Acknowledge.
yes, it was a beautiful, and again, it seems that, oh, I need to read it again. And so this was the beautiful platform, and thank you to the Wings publication, Manika
Yeah.
madam, and we started learning, we started reading, and again, it is revision. It is going to happen.
Yes, yes. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
sharing your personal experiences also, Supriya. Wonderful. Yes, lovely book. And it's brought a change to all the person who has read. Yes, Simran, it's now your turn to share your insights.
I loved everything, and the most important part you highlighted was this should be taught to students. That was the favorite part. That has got my eye.
You're
I want to do
doing
it. I want to do it now. That was so wonderful.
Thank you so much. Yes, yes. It's the present generation, right? So they just imagine when we inculcate all of this to them in that childhood, that subconscious memory, when it gets strong below 10 years, when we inculcate all of this to them, just imagine how they are going to grow up as adults and how beautiful the world is going to be. ऐसा सोचने से है इतना अच्छा you feel that vibe, positive. Every adult is aware of their self-worth, and nobody is facing these kind of discrimination or whatever it is, self-limiting beliefs. So all of this throw in the trash and change the patterns. Lovely. Thank you so much, Simran, for sharing. So anybody else here? I'm just asking once again, my dear friends, Ashmita, Shamina, Roshni, Prakash, or Manika. We have, now it is 8:06. We are good to close, but maybe I can take one more sharing if anybody else would like to come up with their own insights or thoughts after this review. Is there anybody, Roshni or Manika? Prakash, I think you have a sore throat.
Hello, ma'am. This is Jaya, ma'am. Actually, it was saved in some other name.
Aha, Jaya. Welcome, Jaya. Yeah.
Like I'm very happy to be a part of this program. You have already covered these topics in our women empowerment training.
Yes.
Maybe you must be recalling this.
Correct.
Like I'm feeling very fortunate to be in this platform, ma'am.
Very
So
good.
I sure follow. This is my first day. So I'll go to the book and then I'll come back in the next session.
Sure. Thank you so much, Jaya, for being there with the belief. Good that you recollected all what we have been doing earlier in the training.
And the training has completed, and we were left with the empowerment for few days. Again, it got erased. So again, I'm getting empowered with your
Yes. Moment to moment, it is rejuvenating again and again. Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you, Jaya, for being there. So, my dear friends, we can come to a close. I can see Sonal. Sonal, I think if you would like to share, that's fine. Else, we are good to close. Maybe? Yeah, Sonal. Okay?
We should practice mirror exercise on a daily basis, which will help us a lot to improve the things.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah. So that is the takeaway.
Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you. So that is the takeaway from this week. 4, 5, 6 chapters. We are going to practice mirror exercise daily with positive affirmations, and also teach our younger kids, younger generation, how to look in the mirror eye to eye and then talk this positive informations for a physiological change which has to happen within. Okay. Bye. Take care, all of you.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Yeah. Bye. Good night. Yeah.